Yeah, yeah. So, just what's the motivation for believing that Akainu beats Mihawk?
Yeah. So, are you aware of the an outright statement that just says Akainu and the other admiral greater than Mihawk?
Yeah, just show me.
Yeah, I got you. Look in VC scans. So you can see right here when Marineford was blatantly starting, and they're showing, like all defensive and setups they have to guard Ace. They directly say that the combination of the strongest people are guarding the platform where Ace are. And it shows three admirals, and beforehand they already show the Shibukai and Mihawk like literally with like basically in the same panel with the battleships and the cannons. So the combination of the three admirals are just better than the combination of two admirals of Mihawk, one admiral and Mihawk, etc., etc. So these three admirals are just stronger than Mihawk individually, man.
You can't read.
No, you can't read.
Look. It says.
I broke it down for you. I broke it down for you, right? So
Look. It says.
basically, right?
One second. Don't repeat
I'm breaking it
yourself.
down for you one more time. Break it down
Don't
for you one
repeat
more time.
yourself.
Break it down for you
Don't
one more
repeat
time.
yourself,
Break it down
please.
for you
Don't
one more
repeat
time. So
yourself.
no,
Just
no, because
don't repeat yourself.
break it down for
No,
one more
don't.
time.
Just
Break it down for
don't.
one more time. Break it down for one more time.
Oh
It
my
says
god.
these three are the strongest military force. The way I explained it to you, I said these three are a better force than two admirals and a Mihawk, one admiral Mihawk, etc. Combination want to make. Especially when you see Mihawk is in a way earlier defense force with the battleships and the cannons. So this directly means that individually as well, they are stronger than Mihawk because the combination I brought up. So unless you have an argument, please bring up a better reputation than I can't read.
Okay, you can't read. What it
Okay,
says.
yeah, you definitely have an argument.
Just stop talking. What it says, just to be clear, is before his eyes, protecting the platform are the Marines' greatest military force, and it refers to the three admirals as a whole. So I don't know where you're getting this idea that
Yeah, so I'm breaking
it
it down for one more time.
just stop,
I'm
stop
breaking it down for
talking.
one more time.
Just stop
I'm breaking it down
talking.
for one more time.
Just
They
stop
are
talking.
talking about
Just
the
stop
three
talking. Stop
admirals
talking.
together is the greatest force they can ever make up. So this means two admirals and Mihawk is not a military force that is considered the greatest. So no matter how you want to put it, this also directly implies that Akainu by himself will be stronger than Mihawk as well,
That
because
doesn't imply that.
a dark I just gave you. So
You
attack
just
that as
you just
opposed to saying you can't read.
look. He just keeps repeating himself, and it's really bad. So look, I'll just try to
Uh-huh.
give the argument. So, look, it's talking about the Marines as a unity. So the admirals as a unity are the greatest force. So there's three admirals: Aokiji,
Good loss.
Or Aokiji slash Kuzan, Akainu slash Sakazuki, and then Kizaru, whatever, Borsellino. As a group, they are the strongest military force because they are a military force. You keep bringing up this idea that that means that two admirals plus Mihawk would be a weaker force. No, no, no.
Yes, because
That's
it's
a high.
it's a
Just stop
because it's not the
talking. Just stop
greatest.
talking.
Like what
Just
the
stop
fuck is wrong
talking.
with you?
Just stop talking. When it says the greatest military force, it's not saying the greatest military force out of all hypothetical military forces. It's just
Oh,
saying the
you're
greatest
dumb. That's
military.
what greatest
Just stop.
means.
Oh my god, I'm gonna just stop talking. What greatest means is it means superlative to the highest level. Okay, so
Right, right, right,
just stop.
right,
Oh
right.
my god,
Highest level.
why
So
does
this is
he
the
keep
highest level of
why
force
does
they can demand. So this is
no
better
no
than
no no no
two
no that's not what it
admirals
says.
and
That's not
Mihawk.
what it
How you
says.
that's
That's
concession?
not what it
How you
says. That's not
fucking concession, you dumbass bitch?
that's not what it
What
says.
the fuck?
It does not say it's the highest military force that they can create. It says
It
it's the
literally.
highest military.
What the?
Why does he
It
keep
says greatest military
talking
force.
over me?
What are we talking about?
So
That is
I
blatantly
think the
reading
problem
up
here
into
is
what they can make. You
Jim,
dumbass bitch.
do you want moderation? Because I don't think you want to let me get the argument out. I think you're
Nah, your
afraid.
argument's fucking ass and retarded. Like
Yeah,
you need
I think you're
better
afraid.
shit.
I
You
think
need
you're
better
afraid.
shit, bro.
You're
You
scared
talking
of
about they can't make. They literally have milk right here. We're
you're
talking about
scared of
they can't
me.
make up their military force.
You're
If your
scared of me.
argument, no one's scared. You just sound fucking stupid.
So, look, just stop
They have
talking, man.
milk there. They're using them to defend Ace and them. That's why I told you. Look at the narrative. We're seeing all defensive they're using to guard Ace. They have the weaker stuff in the front, the battleships, the war machines, all the stuff. We have the Shibukai and the other stuff in the middle, and then guarding Ace. Actually, where most prized treasure is, they have the greatest asset they can have, the three admirals. So, like I told you, it's obviously sure still means talk about in combination. All this means, from what I posited, is that three admirals together is better than two admirals plus Mihawk. One admiral plus Mihawk. So this also implies individually these three admirals are also stronger than Mihawk. Unless you're gonna have actually give a better argument than fucking, well, this doesn't imply what they can create, which is fucking stupid because they're using the assets they have available, which means they are using what they create. You're fucking lost, bro. You
Okay.
need to have a better
So
argument than that shit you just made up, bro.
yeah, do you want to have moderation?
It's not gonna help you, man. That's all I gotta say. It's not gonna help you.
Okay, I'm just gonna moderate then, or have someone else moderate. Does anyone want to moderate here? Like Rewind, Corin, Plutus, Senju, anyone? Because like
What
to be
nigga?
quite frank, like I've been trying to give the same argument for like 10 minutes now. It seems as
Oh,
if every time I try to give the argument, he just talks over me because he
well,
knows that if I give the
basically, I
argument,
mean, from you say, okay, you were saying it wasn't encompass all hypothetical military forces, but only in the scenario.
no,
But
I just
you,
asked for a moderator, not a judge, a moderator. Okay, Sakazuki-san, I'm gonna give you VC mod. Okay.
why do you? Oh, I mean, why'd you meet with that nigga?
Okay, can you mute Jin? Okay, look, so I'm just gonna run through the argument. So greatest force equals the best thing that they can use. Three admirals over two admirals plus Mihawk over one admiral plus Mihawk over Mihawk. Uh, so look, the issue of this sort of argument is number one, when it says the greatest military force, it's talking about the greatest as in the highest level of defense that they can have for the platform. So what that's meaning here is that out of the three military forces that they have, so the regular Marines, the Shichibukai, and then the admirals are greater than the Shichibukai combined. But it does not mean that individually the admirals are greater than the Shichibukai combined. Like it's perfectly plausible to say that the reason as to why Mihawk doesn't team up with the two admirals to defend the platform, it's because A, they don't trust Mihawk enough to actually defend the platform. Like, for example, all the Shichibukai are just rogue pirates. They don't know whether they're going to actually defend the platform as opposed to go fight for their own needs. Or B, they don't know whether Mihawk can work together well with the other admirals. So they don't know about the teamwork, the cooperation, because keep in mind, it's a group, not individually. Or three, they might just not want to force Mihawk. They might just be unable to force Mihawk. Mihawk might be there to for his own sort of plans. Like he's there to fight Whitebeard. He's not there to do anything that he doesn't want to do, and you can't force him to do so. That's why when Shanks pulls up, he doesn't fight Shanks because he's not going to be forced to do what he doesn't want to fucking do. So there's some explanations for as to why you don't have Mihawk at the platform, but that does not necessarily mean that Mihawk plus these other two are weaker or something. Maybe as a force they are weaker, but that could be due to teamwork or something else. So like that's fine. I don't understand. Plus this is contradicted by Mihawk's feeling.
Okay, now it's time to mute C, man. My turn. Um,
Yeah, I'll mute myself.
yeah, yeah. So like your argument really doesn't make any sense here. So the reason why this would imply individualism is to break down for you again. Um, if it's saying it's the greatest military force, right? This is obviously in reference to the best type of like performance that whatever they can have, right? So all this means is that these three combined are better than other three combined, or four combined, or five combined, or six combined, right? So like I told you, this means that two admirals is way better than three admirals are way better than two admirals plus Mihawk. Same thing with one admiral plus Mihawk or Mihawk by himself. And the reason why your argument earlier well also would just fail with that like, oh, maybe they wouldn't put Mihawk at the the fucking the thing because of trust. For one, the scan doesn't mention anything about trust. The scan's just saying the greatest military force they can muster, which is obviously just talking about defending Ace. I don't know if you know this, but the Shibukai was specifically there to defend Ace and actually fight them. We literally see this right here. When Bo Hancock is called, they're literally just there to actually defend shit. That's why you also see. I'll pause it for you. If you look at the scan to where Marine Corps first starts, and it shows all defenses that they have right there, protecting the platform, all the stuff with the ships and all this stuff. What they bring in, they start by showing the very farthest point where the weakest stuff is, and they continue on to break it down, going further and further inside until we get to epicenter, where you see the three admirals defending the most prized treasure. So your argument really makes no sense. It has no type of stuff substance towards it. You just make a lot of assumptions. I actually have like scans backing up. I actually have a very valid breakdown, like explaining the logical consistency for what greatest force would like literally entail. Like you're just lost here, man. So you need some better stuff. So if you want to go into your Mihawk skin like you think it shows because it contradicts my shit, we can definitely talk about that. So man, go ahead.
Quickly. Once again, the greatest force does not have to be just based on pure strength alone, right? The reason as to why they can be the greatest force is because all of their abilities combine in such a way that would allow them to be stronger than, for example, if you were to just slap on me Hawk and Doflamingo or something. But they have compatible abilities, so the way that they use their abilities and their teamwork come to fruition in such a way as to allow them to defend Ace with the most efficiency. That's a perfectly fine interpretation. They are still the greatest military force, but also for not contradicting the story, right? Like what you're saying is just, look, we can have fucking Aokiji, we can have fucking what's his name, Akainu and Garp, Instead of Kizaru, keep in mind, Garp punches Kizaru into the fucking building, right? Like he punches him away, he gets fucking low lift by Garp. And you're saying that that would entail, therefore, that Garp is individually weaker than Kizaru, which is just obviously not the case. Like your argument makes no sense. Once again, the greatest military force is not just talking about strength. It's not saying the strongest military force. They didn't just get the three strongest people, slap them together, and say, "Ha, we have the greatest military force." No, they're strategic, they're tactical. What they did is they got the three people with abilities that can work in such a way that is compatible, and that is why they are called the greatest military force, right? Because they are compatible and they can fight in such a way with teamwork. That does not mean that individually you're stronger than every other fucking member in the Marine headquarters. When we see that Kizaru gets beat up, we see that people like Mihawk can clash with Whitebeard, who are said to be the strongest, or not Mihawk. See that Shanks can clash with Whitebeard, and Milk's above Whitebeard, who Whitebeard says to be the strongest man. That's the whole point that they're protecting. Also, this whole progression of like strongest to weakest that you're talking about, I agree. The Royal Shichibukai, the five people posted up there, are probably a weaker force insofar as they are not working as a team when compared to the admirals. That's why Mihawk goes to fight Whitebeard or whatever, and then Doflamingo goes to do his own thing, Crocodile goes to do his own thing, Boa goes to do her own thing. They all go to do their own thing, not fighting as a unified unit. However, the other admirals, they are fighting as a unit. They're fighting as one, okay? So that's the whole point. Also, they're not there to protect Ace. I don't know where you're getting this idea from. Mihawk couldn't care less about what happens to Ace. All Mihawk is there to do is to test Whitebeard, right? They're not here to protect Ace. They're never once seeing stopping people from going to. Actually, no, they do stop people from going to Ace and stuff like that, but they're not there. That's not their main priority. That's not their main goal. So I guess that'll be my response to all of those things. And he can talk now.
Yeah, so I just think you're wrong. The admirals like really I'm telling you right now, I can search scans. They literally just like jump down and just do 1v1s, bro. They like Akainu himself did like a 1v fucking 18 against the White Bear Pirates, right? So like they don't fucking like work together like we think they do. They do exactly what the Shibukai do, which is just like they want their ones, they want their main fight. Um, I also disagree about like your argument scaling Mihawk over which we'll call it over Whitebeard because it's explicitly stated that Whitebeard is stronger than Mihawk. So like that's just one. I think you kind of conceded a bit when you said like the Shibukai are weaker than the Admirals. Like even though you think like your argument um like kind of defends it, I don't think it does. I think all you're doing is giving me more leeway to like actually support my scan. I'm also like I don't know if you know this, but like directly fighting opposition, no matter what you say, will help them defend Ace, right? Hence why like you arguing like he wants to fight Whitebeard. Oh, okay, that's still buying time to fucking defend Ace. Ace execution gonna happen. Like he also has to Mihawk also goes on the scrap with Crocodile. He like literally one shots the Bone Z. He does other stuff and just like go after his most prized possession. So it's clear that Mihawk is still helping the agenda and protect Ace to some degree. So I don't think argument actually implies that. So you actually went to scaling right now. We can leave this statement here and just like go into scaling. I think I won this already. So it's up to you, man.
Just give me a sec. Hold on, I'm being cool. Okay. So like just one more contention, and then like I want to see if you can respond. So like this idea that it's talking about them just being purely the strongest out of the three is just wrong. Like I don't know how else I can make this clearer. Like it's just wrong. So like what you're saying here is that if we were to slap Sengoku, Garp, and Akainu into a force, they would be weaker than say fucking what's his name, Akainu, Aokiji, and Kuzan. Well, not Kuzan, Borsalino individually, which is wrong because once again we see when they're electing the fleet admiral, they elect them based on combat and ability and stuff like that. So obviously it's not the case that Sengoku is individually weaker than the admirals. It's not the case that Garp is individually weaker than the admirals. We see Garp punch away, what's his name, fucking Kizaru, with no fucking difficulty, And yet you're saying that even with these feats, Garp is weaker. It just doesn't make sense. It's inconsistent with what we see in the story. What makes more sense is, look, we have this group in the Marines. And this group in the Marines, keep in mind, I don't think the Shichibukai are even in the Marines or in the Navy. But this group in the Marines, which is the three admirals, are the strongest in the Navy. Okay? Now, hypothetically, if they were to slap on a team with Mihawk, the reason why they wouldn't be the strongest in the Navy, even Mihawk's not even in the fucking Navy, is because it's the case that Mihawk might not have the teamwork or the compatibility or something else or something else. But evidently, it's not the case that it's just saying, oh yeah, with any team that they can make, it's not the case that it's not going to be strong or something like that. It doesn't make sense to me at all. It's like, I don't know, maybe I'm repeating myself here, but we can conclude.
Yeah, so I just need you to know, um, Garp never fought Kizaru, so you're waffling there. You mean Marco, by the way. So like it has nothing to do with like this debate, mind you, with the admirals. Secondly, I don't know if you know this, right? But like the way I'm reading the Marine scans, which has the greatest force that the greatest military force, it's just saying anything that the Navy can use to help them. We know that's the case as opposed to like the whole argument of like, oh, it's only referring to in the Navy, because if we go based off ranks, right, this means that the battleships wouldn't be included, even though earlier you agreed and posited that the closer you are to the platform is going to be the stronger the force, right? They're going to have better assets to protect Ace. Or you posited that earlier. Um, so I don't know if you know this, right? This would directly mean the battleships would are blatantly further out. Obviously, like Mihawk, like Ace. Like Ace fucking took down like 10 battleships at once beforehand. Like Ace is not as strong as the Admirals. Ace is not as strong as Mihawk. Ace is not as strong as Bull Hancock, Dopey, all them niggas, right? Like it's clear that the lines of defense are just using the weaker military forces and the outside further out, and then the stronger ones are going to be more close to the epicenter. Hence why you see, like I said earlier, greatest military force has the best assets they can use for just fucking defending. Oh, you hop on the platform, get one shot, or you're getting bitched up, right? You're in the middle. Maybe you get past it, maybe you don't. Like et cetera, et cetera. Um, so again, if you want to go into scaling right now, I think we can. I actually don't think like your arguments really are good for real, for real. So it's up to you, man.
Yeah, just look at this guy. And I'm not gonna lie, everything I said before, I did get confused between Garp and Marco and Kizaru or whatever. But like I just don't think what you're saying is of any importance to me. Um, I think you need to respond to the idea that it can just be the fact that they're more compatible. Like for example, I think I'm very skeptical of the idea that if we were to put Garp in the team of admirals, for example, that team would be weaker. Like just keep in mind, based on your argument, well, let me just copy paste what you said in general as well. Okay, just look at this quickly. Okay, greatest force equals the best thing that they can use. Okay, why can't it just be the case that they can add Garp or add Sengoku onto the admirals? And they have four admirals or five admirals, and under your argument, it would follow that they have four people now who are stronger than three, and that team as a whole would now be better than the three. Um, under your idea, this is perfectly possible. This is perfectly something that they can do. They just don't do it because the three admirals will be stronger. So your argument seems to be contradictory. Your argument seems to be saying that Kizaru, Akainu, and Kuzan are stronger than those three plus Garp and Sengoku or something like that, which just
Oh,
fails, right? Like
yeah, I
obviously,
easily
it's just
agree.
stop talking. Like obviously, it's the case that they would be stronger with those people. So it's obviously not the case that when they say the greatest force, they're not talking about just pure strength of the individual fighters. They're talking about the strength as a whole, so the unity of these fighters and how they can fight as a team. Also, the Shichibukai are not in the Navy, so like if you look in the scan I sent, it says who rules this stretch of water? Is it one of the four emperors of the sea? Perhaps the seven warlords used their trickery to get by? And they're shaded in green. So they're talking about the pirates there. Then it says the Marines reign supreme. The Marines are the Navy. Okay, the forces of justice. If it was the case that the Shichibukai were a part of the Marines, they would have been included in that scope. So they wouldn't be included in the pirate section, they would be included in the Marine section. So that's another thing as well. So you can respond to those too.
Post game for you. It says the greatest military force. It doesn't say the greatest force in the Navy. It says the greatest military force. Exactly why I made the argument earlier. If you think it's only talking about the quote unquote things that's considered in the stuff, then you would have to agree that battleships will not be a part of the defense because of the ranks I posted earlier, right? It'll only be referring to the soldiers, right? The foot soldiers, like you're trying to posit here. Obviously, this is not the case. The battleships are shown, the Shibukai are shown. They are shown the assets that the military can use, that they can call on to use to help them in any type of scenario when it comes to hunt down pirates or doing a big scale war, which is guarding Ace, right? So I'm just using it as I'm using military force as anything they can use to protect or fight something, right? So I don't think that argument actually attacks that. I think that scan to positive from earlier really doesn't. It's really just is irrelevant here. Um, Secondly, um, for why your argument doesn't follow when you attack my what's called my hypothetical here. I'm gonna post it for you again. So I'll explain this to you. So I don't know if you know this, right? But because they're fighting the war and they need ground coverage, right? Mind you, they also have to um what's it called? They need ground coverage, right? They also have to like protect entrance. Like they just give like the wiper pirates free entry right with no type of uncontestability, just losing ground, right? So when it says greatest military force, I agree. Um, if we're saying like in a vacuum, you can make a crazy stronger force by saying, okay, three admirals plus me up, three admirals plus me up plus Sengoku. Sure, but you have to keep in mind, see, because they have to maintain ground stability to not lose leverage over the warscape, the warland they're talking about. What you need to do is they need to divide their forces. So this actually helps my interpretation more. So if they're going to divide their forces, they have to split them into groups, right? And this group specifically is called the strongest group, despite Mihawk can be interchanged with one of them or two of them to make an even stronger group. This just means that look, if you move like the queen, like let's play like chess, right? Move like a knight in the board earlier, right? Knight's a really strong piece next to pawns. Like, oh, that's pretty good defense. But if you move a queen, right? Like with a knight above earlier, that's gonna be even stronger defense, right? So I think all this pausing is that like this only attack marker. I think all this pausing is just that like even though Mihawk has moved to a different unit side, he's still individually he's not as strong as these three individually because these three individually just make a stronger force than Mihawk plus an admiral or Mihawk plus two admirals, bro. Like that's all matters, bro.
Yeah, you're confused. I don't think I've ever seen somebody as confused as you are. Look, the scan that you sent says the Marines greatest military force. So the greatest military force of the Marines. If it's the case that the Shichibukai are not of the Marines, then obviously it's not the case that they're going to be included under the scope of the statement. And the statement I sent before shows that they're not included under the scope of the statement. Right? The Shichibukai are part of the Marines, not a part of the Navy. They don't wear the Navy uniforms. They're pirates that have their bounties frozen by the world government, I believe it is, so that they can temporarily work and do jobs for the world government, right? But they're not a part of the Navy. They're not a part of the Marine. They don't have to follow Navy or Marine orders, right? So that's I don't understand what you're bringing up that for. As opposed to as pertains to the fucking admiral point, you're confused. Like once again, look, I don't know how much ground you think Garp can cover in his own, or like Sengoku, but it's not the case if you lose one person, all of a sudden you lose the ground. The ground that they cover is covered by lackeys. People like Sengoku stay on the platform. Like we see Sengoku on the platform as well. So this idea that, oh my god, if they put Sengoku on the platform to defend Ace, they're gonna lose so much more ground. It's just unfounded and ad hoc. The only justification you can give me for that is, oh yeah, let me beg the question and go back to what I was saying initially. That's the justification. There's no external justification you can give me. So if really sees Sengoku on the platform, once again, why can't they have the three admirals plus Sengoku defending the platform? That is a possible thing they can make. They only lose one person who was not covering ground anyway, and now they have a theoretically stronger team. Obviously, they can't do that under your interpretation. What makes more sense is that they have the three admirals. That's a group. Okay, so there are always three admirals. That's the group. And it just so happens that the three admirals, these specific three admirals, as a group, are the strongest group in the Marines, right? So there's different groups in the Marines, obviously, have different squads, whatever. And this is the strongest group of the Marines that they have at that point in time. Not the strongest group that they could ever feasibly fucking create. They can create a group with all of those three plus other admirals as well. All of those three plus fucking Smoker even. And that will still be a stronger group under your idea. They could do all of that. But obviously it's not the strongest group they could ever create. It's the strongest group that they have currently. Okay? So that's fine. I think I'm repeating myself. You can conclude.
Yeah, so I disagree. Like I already told you, the reason why we're currently it matters because, like I said, it's a war ground, and I'll know this. But if you move a strong piece into later in defense, sure, it's going to strengthen a weaker. Sure, it's going to strengthen what you call it, what you call it, a defense, and later in the tunnel. But then all that means is that you're going to make the earlier defense weaker. So that's why I'm saying, okay, they're dividing their forces, while also dividing their forces. You know, they're making sure, like, okay, even when we're going to divide it, we're going to keep the strongest force that we can muster in the back, right? So these three are just the strongest combination of pieces, that can be mustered out of all the units they have available, right? So I don't think if they move Garp from like right in front of the platform as opposed to on the platform, that means that it's virtually the same thing. No, because now that means Sengoku loses help unless they hypothetically Whitebeard and his crew get past everybody else. Sengoku's gonna get taken down much faster, much easier. Like that's bad. That's bad. That's really bad. So I think they're not only they're doing strategically, but they're also adding the part like, okay, we're gonna do it strategically and power wise, right? Now the reason why I think the argument with the wars don't work, like I said earlier, when it says the Marines greatest military force is referring to anything the Marines had access to. Hence why the military. That's why I see the military, the people who actually do which have ranks like the foot soldiers and the admirals and the fleet admirals, and guess what? The Royal Shibikai. I do not think need to be a part of the Navy in order to be a asset of the military. They called them in. They responded to the call and they fucking showed up. And it's gonna show previously. You can also see in the story when the what's call it when One Piece is first getting fucking um popularized, all this stuff, like literally very early chapters, like first 20 chapters, they're blatantly recognized, widely known as being assets of the military, of the Navy. They're just people that work with them, right? So they would be considered forces, regardless if they are in the ranks or not. Just like how the battleships are not in the ranks, but they are considered a military force. The argument actually has no ground. It's fucking retarded. We can definitely move on to actual character scaling, feats and stuff.
Okay, yeah, just some arguments that I didn't hear before. So yeah, I don't grant that the ships are a part of the fucking navy. Like what the fuck? I don't grant that they're a force of the navy either. The ships are things that the navy use to navigate, but it doesn't make sense to say the ship is in the navy itself. Like if I build a ship for my army, just keep in mind, I think this was pretty obvious, but clearly you don't think the same way normal humans do. If I build a ship for my army, that ship is not in my army. That ship is something my army uses to navigate. The same way, if I give guns to members of my army, the guns aren't in my army. Jin, like I'm actually dumbfounded. I think this is something very basic, um, and I don't know if I even need to respond to it because anyone that has more than 5 brain cells listen to this, they'll think, "What the fuck? Objects can't be in an army. Only people are in armies, right? Are you saying like the ships are soldiers, or like I don't know? It just sounds really fucking dumb." And that's enough I'm gonna say about that topic. But look, once again, your interpretation of the scan says when it says that it's the Marines' greatest military force, it's talking about all of the forces that the Marine have access to. I don't grant that. I think that when it says the Marines' greatest military force, it's simply and merely only talking about the forces in the Marines, so the forces of the Marines. Okay, so it's not including any forces external to the Marines. It's not including Shishibukai. It's not including any other pirate crews that the Marines might pay or any mercenaries or whatever. It's only including the forces of the Marines. Since you're in the affirmative, you probably need to give me some sort of motivation to believe that it's talking about anything that they have access to. And then also, I'm not gonna lie, when you were rambling and saying like, "Oh, it's really, 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 really bad," I wasn't listening. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not really tuned into this debate too much. But like, if we have a chessboard, um, and we have pieces, what you do at the start of the match, I don't know if you play chess, what you do at the start of the match is you castle your queen. You know how to do that? You surround your queen by powerful pieces and other pieces also like the pawns, okay? So this whole idea that, they can't add one additional piece to protect their queen, which is ace, let's say, is just dumbfounding for me. Because once again, yes, they can. It's not as if Sengoku is covering ground. The people that are covering ground are the pawns. So them taking a rook, for example, just theoretically, them taking a rook like Sengoku and using them to castle the queen is not going to give them any sort of less ability to cover ground, because the things that are covering ground, the people that are mainly covering ground, are the foot soldiers. Foot soldiers, they run on their feet. Like I don't claim to be a general of war or anything, but it seems to be really fucking basic shit. Um, Also, like once again, the Shichibukai are not in the navy, so nothing you're saying here really matters. And I just don't see a refutation towards the idea that there are certain characters that are not in the admirals that are stronger than characters in the admirals. It's like Garp punches Marco goes rogue Kizaru, for example, or like Mihawk, for example, is stronger than Shanks, and Shanks can clash with Whitebeard and can clash with Akainu as well. Just stuff like that you might want to take into account.
All right. Yeah, I think we can go into character scale now. I think I'll definitely beat you on this. There's like the semantical scans parts, the statements and stuff. So yeah, we can definitely move on to the scans portion. Um, so just what you said about some of the feats and all that stuff. I don't know if you know this, right? But when a kind of Whitebeard scrap verbatim, and even like in like a whole bunch of stuff, it's especially stated a kind of he can't get loose because he can't let loose because like the war ground they're fighting on, as opposed to Whitebeard who can let loose. And despite this, he's still clashing evenly. He's still fucking holding his own. He still manages to overcome Whitebeard to multiple forces, multiple extents. So what it seems like is, mind you, the Shanks thing, who Shanks is highly relative to Mihawk, who went equal to Whitebeard, but yet holding back Akainu is doing better than Shanks, who is full power relative to Mihawk. The scaling is just looking pretty in favor to Akainu. It's going to look something like this. It's going to look like Akainu will holding back relative to Whitebeard, right? This same Whitebeard is over Shanks. This same Shanks is highly incontentious with Mihawk, right? So I just think that like like the feats and stuff is like also is going highly in favor in Akainu's ballpark, and I'll get those scans right here. While I'm getting them, you can respond to the argument.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't listening. I just want to make this announcement really clear. Look, I've never ever claimed to be a good chess player. So why people are attacking me about my chess analogies, I don't know. Look, please just kill
We
yourself.
know that you're ass nigga.
Okay, anyways, look, we can do a chess tournament in the fucking VC. I'll kill everybody here. But that's besides the point.
Okay, you
Look,
canceled me
I don't
already.
grant that
Okay,
Milk and Shanks are relative. I grant that they were probably relative like 400 years ago. I don't know why I would grant that they're relative now. All I know about their relationship is that Mihawk is stronger. We see that Mihawk in like chapter 90 something. Shanks goes up to, or is it Mihawk that goes up to Shanks? I think Mihawk goes up to Shanks' crew with the Luffy's wanted poster. And Shanks is like, "Oh, are you here for another fight?" Mihawk looks at him and says, no. And we know that Mihawk can like sense the strength of swordsmen just by looking at them. So if it's the case that they were truly relative, or like Mihawk thought he could give him a challenge, he'd probably fight him. You know, that's his whole fucking life's goal, to find someone that can give him a challenge. And he just doesn't. So that's some good evidence to suggest that, you know, we shouldn't believe that Shanks and Mihawk are relative. But yeah, like that's besides the point. Look, I don't know why I would grant that. So I guess when you send me the scans, hold on, let me even see if you send the scans. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm getting
Akainu holding back relative to Whitebeard. Oh my fucking god. Akainu holding back. Is he holding back because he doesn't want to destroy Marineford? Is that what you think?
Yeah, those on the sort of Marineford. It's also a very consistent narrative piece throughout the whole entire story that the admirals can't let loose. It's like shown multiple times. They have to restrict themselves. And Akainu one of the main aspects. He says, look, even if you are holding back, even if we can't let loose, you should still do your job. You still get the job done. And Akainu is the only admiral from what we see who has actually got the job done despite these restrictions. He acted it. So like it just seems to me like the Akainu's way stronger arguments than Mihawk does.
Um, Sorry, I'm unclear. So I can hold back from destroying a place whilst maintaining my AP. Like the difference between AP and like DC is that AP is attack potency. So how potent your attacks are aren't restricted by how destructive your attacks are. So like for example, let's just say with context of Akainu, Akainu might restrict himself from using like really big AoE attacks or something. But that doesn't restrict his AP in any way. I don't know why I would grant that correlation.
Yeah, so it's explicitly stated when Akainu and Kuzan do the 1v1 fight to decide who's the fleet admiral, that they specifically moved the punk hazard so they actually could fully let loose, right? They actually could use all their abilities,
That's not
all
what's
their
stated.
strengths. They could. It is stated. I'll get you the scan. So when I get you the scan, and it shows us like when they actually are being able to let loose, they like actually can like terraform fucking massive landscapes, right? That's way bigger or comparable size to Marineford as opposed to what the Akainu did, where he's like just throwing like a single fucking magma punch that wasn't even like fucking turning the fucking ground into lava or ice. Like it just seems to me like he's like he has to severely hold back his power as opposed to what he's doing like in a way more less tricky scenario. I'll get you that scan real quick. But like that's very easy to find. Let me go to my what you call it? I posted this scan like literally like yesterday in the fucking the Castle Black server. Okay, VC. Let me get my and here is here's the collage. Let me just screenshot the scan, man. Mhm. 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 All right, there we go. Get this. We also just get this. Yep, screenshot this right there. All right, see. So like, I don't know what your like contention is going to be for this, but like it's pretty clear that like this type of damage was not done to Marineford, man. Like it's like a pretty evident case that like he had to restrict himself. He couldn't let loose. Look at this. You see right here. This type of damage they done is literally stated. This is exactly why they moved so they could let loose. Obviously, like if he tried to do this against Marineford, sure he's killing Whitebeard, but like he's also killing like his allies. Like then that's making the government weaker. That means more powers can rise up. Like it's a bad string, and it's also just destroying the home and the people like that who live there. Like it's bad, man. Like so you like I don't know what your response is gonna be, but it just seems like it's really holding back. Akainu is holding his own against Whitebeard. And Shanks, who's relative to Mihawk, is just like below Whitebeard. It's not relative at the best.
The second bit that wait, can you guys hear me? Yeah, I'm just unclear. The second bit that you sent, is that a part of the first scan?
Yes.
Okay. Look, just in response, I don't know if you know how fights work, but when people fight, they don't stay in one area. Like they move around. So and keep in mind they fought for like 12 days. So the idea that I'm sort of getting is, look, they were clashing with the devil fruits consistently over multiple different areas for extended periods of time, and that's what caused the landscape to change. Not this idea that they went to Punk Hazard, you know, to use massive AOE attacks. Like, why are you assuming this was caused by AOE attacks? I don't understand.
Oh, you're saying it's not cross a massive AOE attacks? That's what you're trying to posit?
I just don't know why I
When
would find that is.
when they specifically move locations to an unisolated big area to fight, and you're asking why is it massive AOE attacks?
Yeah, I know they would damage the terrain as they fight, yes, but it doesn't have to be by AOE attacks.
So, see, I'm gonna break down for you one more time. They moved to a massive, big ass land,
Yep.
right, to fight unrestrictedly, right? Like, I don't even, I can even steal man, right? That it's not even due to the AOE attacks, right? Regardless, the point is going to be Akainu, right here, is not doing this to Marine for it blatantly when he hit the ground. I can get you him doing fucking eruption cannon. This nigga did not terraform the ground he was on when it touched, as opposed to here, where his abilities, you're like, no, they doing like a small punch scale, and like let's say a piece of their energy flies off and hits the ground, it just entirely warps it. Kind of wasn't doing that shit to Marine Fort when he's attached to the ground. When it's attached to the ground, that shit did not turn into a lava landscape. So what it sounds like to me is that more force, more properties are being applied here, and because of this, what you call it, he has to go to a different scenario, different scene in order to let loose and to further affect his power.
Um,
Get you this Kanu eruption fist, magma fist, yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, I got you got this skin right here. Let's see what else. What else do we have? Yeah, like yeah, man. Like I don't know what else you need. Like we got wiper interaction where powers aren't doing that shit. You have this right where it's shown that he's using his Loki body and the island is not being fucking terraformed as he's walking. Like you can see, like he walked forward, shit did not happen. Like that shit behind him, like no, no, no. So it's clear that hey, when even if we still man that like he started using AOE attacks, it's obvious that he's using more force, more magma, and because of this, what's going to happen is that instead of the island being unfazed by the surface being unfazed by the damage, now it's being phased because using more force, using more attacks, stronger shit. So like you need some actual evidence, man. Come on, you need something, bro.
Wait, okay, hold on. I'm just gonna send the scan. Give me a sec.
Let me see. Let me look up the Shanks versus Whitebeard in Iraq. What chapter was that?
Okay, so guys, just take a moment to look at that depiction of their fight, and then look at the scans that Jin sent from above. I don't see a massive difference in the amount of or like the amount of environment that's being burnt up here. Which is why I'm just a bit unclear on as to why this whole idea of them not using massive AoE attacks drastically limits their ability to fight. They can fight without using these massive AoE attacks. Take Whitebeard for example. Whitebeard doesn't need to destroy the terrain in order to have fights. He doesn't need to do such a thing. Mihawk, when he's fighting against Feaster, isn't massively destroying terrain, but he can still do so. He can still cut through icebergs and stuff like that. So DC here isn't correlated to AP. Like when I punch somebody, I don't need to send massive swaths of lava in order to do so. I can grant even like theoretically they probably did in Punk Hazard. Like I don't know, maybe one of those days I kind of sent a huge tsunami of lava at Aokiji or something. But that isn't a stat thing, nor is that an attack potency thing. That's just a pure AoE thing. Like the attack is harder to avoid because it covers so much area, which they weren't allowed to do. But why that all of a sudden means that he's holding back in strength, like why his punches are weaker, I don't know why I'd grant that. Just because there's less
Yeah,
lava
so
spreading out doesn't mean that the lava itself is weaker. I don't know why I'd grant that.
still meant that. I said like, yo, like let's like say it's not AOE, even though it's kind of like stupid, but let's say it's not AOE. I still positive said, listen, we look at what his Magma's doing to Marineford, right? Where he's blatantly said like, oh, he can't let loose because if he does, like, yo, the battle still everything they're protecting the eyes and stuff, like, yo, they're cooked. I can't do that type shit, right? But Whitebeard can easily say like, yo, stop me, I'm gonna do it, right? But Akainu's like blatantly showing like he can't, he doesn't want to do that, right? So I still mean, let's say it's not AOE attacks, let's say it's just basic attacks, right? Which hurts to receive even more. All I told you is okay. Here's this, right? He's touching the ground. Nothing's being terraformed. Nothing's being terraformed. Nothing's being fucking burnt alive. Even walking forward with Logia body, the stuff that he walked from we see earlier, that shit's not on fire no more. Shit's not burning. So what I used that, I said, okay, this means that he's using so much less force that the island is not being terraformed, unlike Punch Hazard, to the point where not only is the basic island still is terraformed to this day, which is 2 years after. They fought 2 years beforehand during the start of the pre-time skip, and it still hasn't melted. It still hasn't cooled off. It's still going like that. And on top of that, they also changed the air. They changed the landscape and the air. What the fuck are you talking about? That shit did not happen in fucking Marineford. So it's clear that they held back to a significant degree. And I can get a basic VSB count to explain the math here, right? This is at least going to be 1,000 times difference, right? Based on how affecting the clouds are going to be from the ground up, right? So, C is a
A
very bad.
thousand times?
Yes, I can get you the math. I can get you the math. I can get you the math. If we go based off from Marineford, he can't affect the landscape. He's not affecting the clouds. Going on to he fights someone here during an isolated scenario where he can affect the landscape and affect the clouds. The difference is at least 1,000 times based on pressure and the force needed to execute his feat. I can easily get you the calc. Look up for the calculations for this. I can easily get you that. Look at this. Let me just look up
Please.
VSB
Please.
calc.
Wait, let me just say something. Look,
Mm-hmm.
just I'll keep this really concise. The explanation for as to why Marineford isn't terraformed, but Punk Hazard is terraformed, is because in
More force.
Marineford they fight for like not that much time, and in Punk Hazard they fight for like 12 days. Now look, just a little voice for anyone that like has not that much strict parents. Maybe like I don't know if Corin's parents are that strict, but Corin, maybe if you want, you can try like get a lighter or like a fire, like something that causes a fire, and then place it on like a piece of grass for like 5 seconds and then stomp it out, and then get the same matchstick, place it on a piece of grass, go in your bed, forget about it for 10 days, and then come back. And I guarantee you like 100% that the grass is gonna light on fire, like everything's gonna be on fire. You know why? Because with more
This nigga
time,
trying to get a little kid get his ass beat, bro. This is
and
crazy.
with more time, the terrain is gonna be shaped more than with less time. So it's not a potency thing; it's a time thing.
So yeah, I've already attacked like the time thing blatantly. I've already shown you consistency for the admirals have to hold back. They can't let loose. I even showed you Akainu directly stating to himself why I can't do that. I've also already showed you that the reason why they moved to Punk Hazard is because of the event they just want to actually go all out. They want no actual things to get in their way, right? So earlier when we see his attacks hit the ground, where he actually has to hold back, nothing's being terraformed. The sky isn't being changed, as opposed to later on to where this nigga he actually can let loose. His attacks do hit the ground. What happens? Not only is the landscape being clariformed to a point to where even after 2 years, where nothing is being applied to what you call it to further extended duration is still there, but also the clouds that are still being affected as well, right? So this is blatantly just like more force being applied here as opposed to overtime shit. The overtime shit is very dumb. I've already showcased the consistency, and here is the clouds thing for you to show what we call it how affecting clouds make you. I can
Toxic
even show you
erupt.
actual. I can even show you actual clouds. People who like punch from the ground up to affect clouds, they're usually around the city block ranges. I don't know if you know this, but to affect like, the city block ranges, from like the ground up, that's at least a thousand times difference in force because peak human, what?
Wait, I have a
What's
question.
peak human VSB standards?
Wait, I have a question. I have a question.
What's up?
Jen, what's the equation for force?
Uh, force equals mass times acceleration.
Type shit. Okay, continue, my nigga. Yeah.
Bro, I'm a fucking a cross person nigga, bro. Like, that shit was not working with me, bro. Stop playing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but yeah. So let me just look up the attack frequency chart for you to show you like the difference between peak human and fucking city block, just to like, or is that gonna be? Yeah, it's attack. Yep, it's attack. Like I said, bro, attack of shit. Yeah, kilojoules and stuff. I'm just gonna go and look up all of the axes right there, the maps right there. No, I can do this for you. Let's see. Peak human is right here. The hitters. Yeah, that's all I need right there, bro. Oh my god, like blatant math, bro. Yeah, so this is at least, bro, a thousand times different, bro. Like, even if we like go from like street tier, like the bro, let's say wall of wood as well. Like that shit is bad. Like that's bad. Wall of wood city block. Like come on, bro. That's really bad. But yeah, I think that's it, bro. I think it's really it, bro.
Yeah, I guess just in response, so I looked at the calculations and there's an error in the fourth proof. So you might want to check the fourth proof in the cloud calculations because it's like a fatal error there.
What's the video?
I just don't grant the implication. Um, as in response to the whole punt hazard thing, just last time I'm gonna say this. They moved to punk hazard probably because they don't want to damage any buildings, damage any residential stuff, damage any people, um, stuff like that. The reason as to why punk hazard is so massively transformed is because the scale of the fight, as in the abilities being used, and the time that the abilities were used for, caused permanent transformation of the landscape. That does not mean that the abilities used were more potent. It just means that the abilities were used for longer periods of time consistently. That would probably be what I would say. The same way, like if I have like a room and I put like a campfire in the room. I don't know if you guys have ever done this before. When I was younger, I used to do this all the time. Me and Shinra. You get a room and then you get like a campfire inside of the room, and then you leave it for like 10 minutes and then you come back to the room. You have all of this gas. So you see me and Shinra would like breathe it in sometimes. And then like the surroundings probably be like permanently damaged. But like if you can also do the same thing for box, you get a room, you put the campfire in the room, and you come back after like 5 minutes. You still have some gas, and maybe like the room is like really really hot, but that's temporary. So the time is what changes, not the potency. Um, the changing variable is the time, and that's what causes all of that stuff. Um, Also, I'm kind of an anti-realist about those sorts of
Go ahead.
cloud things. I'm not even sure what I would grant if I would grant the existence of clouds. just based on the idea that look, it's a much more possible managed to suggest that instead of us saying that there is this sort of external world where clouds exist, there's only this sort of instrumental world. And in this instrumental world, clouds don't exist. So yeah. Please, hey, ignore it. Bro, ignore the last argument, bro. Also,
Is
Sonic, did I
recording
respond to
getting
you?
saved now?
Anyway, Sonic, did I respond to you in DMs? I can't remember. I might have not. I'm not gonna lie, bro. This debate is so boring, bro. Like, it's not even any dark shit. Like, it's actually so fucking boring.
You can just concede, man. You clearly lost, bro.
No. What the fuck?
Yeah, bro, you already lost, bro. It's cool. But
Wait, did we agree? Did we agree to a BOR?
no, I didn't agree to BOR.
Okay,
But,
BOR is 200 million minutes. So I'll be back in that amount of time.
bro, I'm just gonna take that concession, bro. It's cool, bro. You lost.
That's not a concession. What the fuck? The BOR is 200
Cool,
million
bro.
minutes.
Bro, it's cool, bro. It's cool, bro. You lost. It's cool, bro. It's cool.
The BOR.
Bro, it's cool. You lost, bro. It's cool. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording now, bro.
Oh my god. The BOR is 200 million minutes, and I'm gonna be back in that time. Wait, how
Bro,
long is 200 million minutes in days?